another petitioner, Martin Kpebu, private legal practitioner, is joining us as well on Zoom. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I mean, this is the development in the case that you, together with Engineer Kenachigbe, whom you just heard talking, petitioned the CID, this administration, the Attorney General has taken this matter up, but the development is that the fourth accused, the general manager of Akonta Mining, has had his charges withdrawn because he has agreed to serve as a prosecution witness. I mean, how does this come to you or get to you, Counsel?
Yes, it's good because, you're looking for evidence. So if the fourth person is willing, he was part of the cabal. He was part of Bernard Nchibuesuaku's inner circle, director of Akonta Mining. So he has close evidence. So it's better you give him his freedom so that he can help to nail the rest of the persons involved. So that is good. It tells you, Dr. Ayine, like we've been saying, very clear-minded. It tells you that what Aku is bringing on is really worth it. It's worth it because Dr. Ayine knows that if it's not worth it, the public will ask for his blood. So he would not likely bring on Aku as a prosecution witness if his evidence is not worth it.
Perfect. I thank you so much. And Engineer Ashigbe, I'll discharge you now. Thank you for joining us. But Lawyer Martin Kpebu, stay with me because I need you more on the next issue that's coming up next. Acting head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority has been arrested over the controversial SML deal. Now, what's behind the investigation? That's the question that we're going to give you some detail on right now, because we received this notice from the Office of Special Prosecutor earlier today. We're going to put that on the screen right now. So the Office of Special Prosecutor arrested the acting head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Freeman Saba. Mr. Saba is under investigation for suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses, as well as obstruction of justice in respect of the GRA Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited revenue assurance contract. So that's what we do know. It's all because of this SML GRA deal. That's essentially what the details have it. In fact, what we're learning right now is that there's some areas of concern and impact for the OSP in looking into Freeman Saba's involvement in this GRA-SML deal, suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses, critical charge of obstruction of justice, all in relation to this GRA-SML deal. Lawyer Martin Kpebu, you had made this call over the weekend when we spoke on Key Point that because of the statement that he, Mr. Saba, issued when Gary Nimakon wrote to GRA seeking clarity on exactly what SML had done, you said he had questions to answer. Now, the OSP appear to have taken your advice and gone on the path. He has been arrested. Martin Kpebu, how does this development get to you?
It's very exciting. It's good because what it does is that it sends a clear signal to other public officers to be wary of obstructing justice. To be wary of obstructing justice. What is the context of this case? We've had a KPMG report which said some of the work had not been done. Then now you have the OSP also investigating. So perhaps what the public officer would have done, and then also you see the Manasseh documentary. You see that then? Yes, you see the Manasseh documentary where Christian Soti, MD of the SML, said that they don't do those work, transaction, audit, etc. Then they were asked, but there's even publication in the Daily Graphic that SML has saved Ghana about 3 billion Ghana cedis. And he said he's not aware, he's not part of it. Then you watch the documentary, then you see the head of IT of SML, a certain one, right? So, but you see him in the documentary. A picture is worth 1,000 words. He's asked, Mr. IT manager, your flow meters, etc., that you use in measuring the quantity of the oil that's being imported by the various companies in the MPA tanks, are they better than the GRA flow meters, etc. Then he says, no, 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 no. The GRA and MPA flow meters and other equipment are better. So in the context of all this, it beggars belief that Mr. Freeman Saba would write a letter to say that work has been done. Why don't you say, look, this matter is under investigation, so let the investigators finish. So that's the key thing, that he has, basically gone ahead of himself, and so it is appropriate that the OSP investigates the matter. We are not by any indication at all saying that Mr. Freeman Saba, the lawyer, is guilty of any offense. No, that's not what we are saying. What we are saying is that based on the kind of answers is given when investigations are ongoing, right? And even before this current investigation by OSP, the legal officer, I would say documentary and not even look at the KPMG one. We all know that government, so sometimes, I mean, it was to be expected that because KPMG does a lot of business with Akufo-Addo's government, they would not be as thorough and would not put everything out. We said it. We said that KPMG was too close to government to do an independent review, right? But at least even the KPMG report itself indicts SML in several respects. So these were sufficient to cause the officer to say, look, we are not passing judgment on the work done so far because it's with the OSP. So for him to have run ahead of him, etc., where even in the Manasseh documentary, the same GRA officers who were seized with the actual work said they don't use the SML data. The people who were in charge of the tank farms who were monitoring the flow meters. You see the tank farms, you find the big tank farms where you have the oil kept in, and the oil, the importers will come for their oil, etc., said that they don't use SML data. So how can a lawyer of the same GRA go out to write that work has been done? You go into the OSP report, and then you find paragraph 215. Viewers can refer to it. 215, you see a chronicling of how the SML equipment were not working for years. You look at paragraph 212, 213, etc. There are other paragraphs where you also find that Oforiatta asks for money to be paid. Ken Oforiatta, Minister of Finance at the time, brother to President Akufo-Addo, asked for money to be paid to SML when he himself knew that work had not been done. So it's good that Mr. Saba would answer questions, and so we'll get to the bottom of it.
I see, but you see, Counsel, if the OSP's own investigative report, you reference page 215, 212, I'm going to pull that up in a bit, but if the OSP's own report does capture the fact that SML did not do what it was paid or contracted to do, would you agree with those who also ask the question that, look, why is the OSP then demanding a refund of just 125 million cedis when over $1 billion was involved in this entire SML GRA deal, which his own investigative report says SML did not do what they were contracted to do? Why take 125 million when over $1 billion has gone into this deal? Would you agree with those who say something more must be demanded?
Absolutely, yes. And we made that point on Saturday on the key points that OSP must go for far more than the 125 million. As far as I'm concerned, look, it's almost all the money, the 1.4 billion that has been paid, 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. All of it because you see that this contract is one that from day one, SML never gave us value for money. In the report, you see it clearly. OSP's own report shows that at the time Oforiatta wrote to controller to pay SML money, okay, so you are talking about when SML came in June 2018, right? By October 2018, etc., Still, SML was struggling. They hadn't been able to, so there was no basis to pay them. Then you go to the next salient point, which is that in October 2019, 3rd October, when Kofi Nti, former GRA boss, signed the letter for the contract for renewal, it was void because Kofi Nti had left office on the 1st of October 2019. So that was void. Then another key point, you go to 2020, April 2020, Osafo Mafo, having said that, listen, GRA itself even wrote earlier on in 2018 to service providers that, look, government is about to use ICOM. Government is about to introduce ICOMs. When we say ICOMs, that's integrated customs management system. So to collect the taxes, etc. for us. So it was going to be a single provider. So all the other providers will stop. So GRA itself also wrote based on Osafo Mafo's letter. So from 2018, then you find the letter of 20th April 2020, where SML itself now sought to write to Osafo Mafo 2020. Mr. Okasi, let's put all the emphasis on 2020. Osafo Mafo didn't respond to them. So it was clear. You are begging that, please, can you take a second look? Let us continue to work. That's SML's letter to Osafo Mafo, dated 20th April 2020. Osafo Mafo didn't respond. It's because his letter had come earlier on. And then SML is responding on 20th April 2020. Osafo Mafo doesn't respond. So if somebody has told you, a government senior minister tells you that, look, your services have come to an end, and so if anything, you are only to be paid, if you can prove that you've done any work, that's if you can justify. How can you continue from 2020 to 2024 and say you'll be paid? It's illegal money. So this is what the Supreme Court says. They will look at each case, okay, on a case-by-case basis to when a contract is void. That's the contract doesn't exist. It is tainted by illegalities. I think this one is likely the Supreme Court to say no money should be paid. Right. Because Osafo Mafo's letter was clear and ICONs was brought in. And also we've already made the point that SML didn't even have any good equipment anyway. Their equipment were bad. They were obsolete. Their own managers and MD said it. So when a company's own MD and IT manager say, look, the MD says we don't do this work. IT manager says our equipment.
And indeed, that's all what you reference is captured in this OSP investigation report. The 200.213, 215, all of this that you reference is in there. The full complement of it you'll find on 3news.com. We're back shortly.